Is that you, Joe? I just wanted you to know I understand what you're feeling. I feel it too. I love you. Enduring Love is a novel written by Ian McEwan. The plot concerns two strangers who become perilously entangled after witnessing a deadly accident. A journalist, Joe Rhodes, is stalked continuously by Jed Parry, an unemployed religious man. The main question is whether Jed Parry is actually the true victim of the novel. I will be exploring that statement in detail. So an important question needs to be addressed. Who actually is Jed Parry? The information provided by McEwan is quite limited. We find out, however, any denial of affection from the object of delusional love will be dismissed as a ploy to conceal their love from the rest of the world. In other words, the more you reject the love, the stronger it becomes. So can we blame Jed for his obsession? One should feel sorry for him, not fear him. I believe that Jed Parry's character is twisted considerably by Joe. As the first-person narrator, Joe has the power to influence the reader to follow their beliefs. Joe is genuinely fearful and concerned with Jed. However, surely this may be exaggerated by Joe. Because Joe is narrating, we only see his viewpoint. If we had the viewpoint of Jed Parry, what would it be about? My guess would be a very depressed man, constantly rejected, in tears, distressed, wanting acceptance. If we did have a novel from Jed's point of view, he could quite easily twist it to make Joe an out-and-out villain. However, it is Jed who is portrayed as the villain, portrayed as a man for you to fear, something from your nightmare. The limited info on Jed creates tension as we do not know the full story. If we did, and it was Joe who were unaware of then, he would appear to see the villain, and Jed the victim. Those who are also extremely religious, like Jed, may sympathise with him more than those who are not. Jed believes God intended for Joe and Jed to be together. He cannot necessarily disprove that, as there is no evidence that completely proves God does not exist. Parry represents religion in the novel, and is hugely frustrated with Joe's reaction to certain situations through his rational decisions. An example of Jed's frustration is when he says, "Why don't you admit what you're doing?" Jed's condition makes him believe that they are meant to be together, and yet Joe is understandably not cooperating with Jed. Jed's frustration caused by his condition would cause him an equal amount of stress to Joe. Or is it Joe who is truly the victim? Jed's obsession causes Joe's state of mind to slowly crumble, and it tears apart his once loving relationship with Clarissa. Joe is forced into fear as he knows of Jed's situation, is worried that he may resort to violence. This desperation is highlighted by the fact that he gets hold of a gun for protection. Over the course of the novel, the reader sees Joe transform into a frail, terrified man. It is Jed who is deteriorating Joe's sanity, as a result of his own mental issues. If in this situation both have problems, then surely it is Jed at fault for causing distress for Joe and making him the victim. It could even be argued that Clarissa is the main victim in Enduring Love. She was part of the initial balloon accident, then watched as her partner slowly edged away from her in a paranoia for another man. She then witnesses the murder of a man in a restaurant and is finally held at knife point by Jed before viewing his suicide. She is caught up in all the action and continuously dragged along by Joe. Jed, despite his illness, is actually a relatively nice person. At the beginning, he is among those who tries to help in the balloon incident. He is also caring as he delicately suggests that they should break the news to Clarissa through "the only way is for three of us to talk about it." He is evidently aware of the other characters' emotions around him, as well as that of his own. This could potentially create sympathy for him, leading us to believe that he is the true victim. Overall, I believe that it was actually Joe that is the true victim of Enduring Love, and not Jed. Therefore, I believe that the initial statement concerning Jed as the true victim is false. Yes, Jed is upset often, and desperate for Joe's return love, which creates sympathy. Yet this is only because of his illness. The balloon incident should have been a traumatic experience for Joe, and ended there. However, his meeting with Jed changed all that. Joe was forced into a world which he did not wish to enter, a world which tested the strength of his love for Clarissa. It should never have happened. It was Parry's obsession shown through "I've covered 5 sheets of paper with your name" that dragged Joe into it. He was driven almost to murder and madness, whereas Jed already was mad. Jed should be sympathised with slightly. However, the fact that he took Clarissa hostage and tried to assassinate Joe cannot be ignored. It could therefore be considered fair, his end result. for the ordeals he forced upon Joe and Clarissa.